Welcome to Talking Giants presented by John Boy Media. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick. We have a ton to get to. I'm finishing up my trip here up in Alabama for me at the Senior Bowl. Eli's going to be joining the Giants organization in some form or fashion. The Giants hired Jeremy Pruitt, and some other stuff happened. Justin, how are you?
Bobby Skinner, remember when I told you that the most exciting part of your Senior Bowl trip was going to come on the Sunday and the Monday where you had nothing to do? Well, that was true. You had a very boring week. You didn't really do much. You didn't really see anybody. You didn't really do anything. You didn't take a million videos looking at prospects. You don't have a lot of notes. Kind of boring week, just like I thought. And that guy leaving the bathroom in the airport saying somebody dropped the bomb in there, that was the most entertaining and most important part of your week. Correct, right?
Yes. You know what? I probably would have let that trigger me earlier today because I was at a moment like I don't think this was a great use of funds. Like I'm probably not going to come back to the Senior Bowl. Not that I enjoyed it. I loved it, but I just felt like I wasn't able to get enough content out of it.
But you also predicted this. You predicted that this would happen. Like you're going to go nuts with the clips. You're going to go nuts with, going here, going there, trying to get into here, and maybe some behind the scenes stuff that nobody would really see. You got your film, which we'll eventually try to look at and we'll try to open for you. But you predicted that this would happen and this would be the moment, even though it's such like a silly little thing.
Yeah. Before we get into everything,
because even more of a tease.
People are listening to this is going to be probably, besides the draft, probably our most downloaded off-season episode because of, I talked to Joe Judge. All right. Before we get into that, Justin, this episode was brought to you by 5 special people. Tim Johns. Guy's got 2 first names like Ricky Bobby. That's relevant to this episode.
Yeah.
Anthony Falcone.
I have one of my best friends is named Anthony Falcone. Does not like sports, doesn't.
That's your friend.
No, it's not. I looked up on Facebook. I'm like, is Anthony Falcone a common name? Yes, it is. So I don't think this is my best friend. But guess what? This new Anthony Falcone that's new to my life is one of my best friends. Keep going.
My high school mascot was Falcons, and then the announcer during the football games, he said, "Go Falcons."
Ooh,
and it sounded like he wasn't saying Falcons.
Tough.
Matthew, oh my gosh. This guy's last name is Penesi, but it's spelled, if you got rid of the I, it would look like it's penis.
Well, you replace my K with an S. What do you got in my last name?
Exactly. Callum reminds me of Titanic. And then Daniel became a patron and just started commenting demands of us, which is it was, Daniel, I'll be honest, I didn't appreciate he said he loved what we do, but he's like, don't be like these people. It's like, well, we're going to be ourselves, Daniel, and we're going to continue to be ourselves. And that's why you like us, Daniel. But the demands, I was running a little hot.
Well, you did become media scum this week, so I don't blame Daniel.
I really became media scum today.
I don't blame you for passing on the demands to I don't blame Daniel for passing on the demands to you. Bobby, these people went to patreon.com/talkinggiants, and for $2 a month, they give their support, and they are a couple of our favorite people in the entire world because they do want to support us, but also they get some nice perks where they get to watch the shows live as we record them. They get access to maybe some early content, and also 2 times a month, you get shirt raffles, and you might just win a shirt that's very important today.
In fact, I'm going to do that tomorrow at noon. So Friday, or when I get back to Florida, I will do the shirt raffle, for the second one for January. All right, Justin. I met Joe Judge and Patrick Graham today.
You met him. Shake hands. No shake hands.
No, did not shake hands. Even though I wanted to. Like I wanted to come out and put my hand out, but like, nice to meet you, Joe Judge. But it's like you just can't do it with COVID.
Can't.
And the backstory is I was going to try and do it on Wednesday when I was at the Senior Bowl, and I saw them from my car. But I was like, I'm not going to jump out of my car in the middle of the coach's parking lot where I'm not even supposed to be parked and be like, "Hey, Coach Judge, Patrick Graham, can I talk to you real quick?" Like, I just wasn't going to do that. And I just don't feel comfortable doing it. And then I tweeted that out, and Justin, everybody bullied me. Everyone was like, "You coward," or Stapleton was bullying me. I mean, everybody was bullying me, Justin. And then so peer pressure, bullying, trying to be a man of the people, I ambushed him leaving the Senior Bowl stadium today.
I mean, how do you define ambush? How did you approach?
I was waiting outside the gate where they were, where the NFL staff leaving, which was on the other side of the stadium. Like I left practice 10 minutes early to get out there.
Right.
And so some Giants people walked by, and it was one, like bigger black guy, like same build as Patrick Graham. I was like, "Is that Patrick Graham?" But he had like a lighter skin tone. I was like, "I don't think that's Patrick Graham." And there was two other people. I think maybe Freddie Kitchens, and then like a couple other scouts. It may have not been Freddie Kitchens, but it's just hard to tell with the masks on.
Yeah.
And I just let them walk by because I wasn't sure. Like like Joe Judge definitely wasn't with them, so I didn't say anything. I was like, "Man, you pussied out, Bobby." And then I see Joe Judge and Patrick Graham, and I just like. They're walking, and I was like, "Do it." I was very nervous.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Coach Judge. I was like, "This Bobby Skinner with Talking Giants. Could I get you for a second?" He's like, like he was very hesitant.
Yeah.
I was like, "Just, can I get you for," he's like, "for like one question." He's like, "What is this, radio or something?" I was like, "Just one lighthearted question." He's like, he didn't want to do it, and I don't blame him because I ambushed him. Like, that's scummy. Like it's the reason I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to be that annoying guy.
Sure.
So I thought he thought that I was gonna like do like some like Mark like try and like get some like TMZ response.
I was about to say TMZ gotcha moment. Yeah.
And I was just like one lighthearted question, and then I was like, "Can I record it?" Because he was looking like I had my phone. Like he thought maybe I was already recording it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Can I just like if you have to?" Like he didn't want to do it, and so I felt like a scumbag because like doing that, like I can't stand that type of media. Like it's scummy, and it's just not like that's not how I wanted my first interaction to be with Joe Judge, to be honest. So I had my question planned out, and I asked him, and you could hear me. I'm kind of nervous, so I was like, "So, Coach Judge, people like you. What do you think of the nickname Shake and Bake?" And I was like, people like, "Do you like that, or should we roll something with that?" And as soon as I said Shake and Bake, Patrick Graham laughs and like runs off like, "Oh my God, like that's so funny." And Judge looks at him, and I was like, "Do you like that?" He's like, "Well, Pat just changed his vanity plates to Shake and Bake or something." I was like, "Oh, really?" I mean, you guys saw the video. I'll play the video. Right here with Coach Judge. I was just wondering, you got Patrick Graham over there. We got the Shake and Bake nickname for you guys. See, it seems like people like you. You guys like that nickname, or you want us to roll with something else?
I think Pat just changed his vanity plates to something Shake and Bake, something like that. So yeah.
Really?
Pat, what's your license plate say? Is it Shake or Bake?
Give me the address. I'll send you guys a couple of free shirts.
Is that really you putting out the shirt?
Yeah. You guys found that?
Yeah.
My buddy sent it to me. It was hilarious.
All right, we'll find a Twitter burner account. Give me your address, and I'll send it to you guys or something.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Nice meeting you too.
Hey, have a good one.
Keep up the good work. So he didn't like. He thought like I just like used the nickname Shake and Bake, and I was like, "I'll send you shirts." And then he realized like, "Oh wow, this isn't like some guy." Like he didn't know. I don't think he knew what to think, and he didn't realize we were the ones who sold the shirts. Like I guess somebody had sent that to Pat. Like Patrick Graham says later in the video, I sent that to my brother. My brother sent it to me.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
We'll find a Twitter burner account. Give me your address, and I'll send it to you guys or something.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Nice meeting you too.
Hey, have a good one.
Keep up the good work. I have to do the keep up the good work at the end. So if I ask probably any other question, that probably fails miserably, and Joe Judge is like this weirdo. But because they saw it, it ends up being like maybe our best video interaction online ever. Like I've always said I don't think I'm a good interviewer, but like one, I was nervous because I like if we were set to interview Joe Judge, Justin, would I be nervous? Yeah, but it would be a confident nervous. Like I know what I'm going to ask. Like I know how I'm going to try and connect.
Because
with
there's a clear understanding. Like, yeah, you're going to come and do this, rather than just, hey, I'm just going to approach you when he's there for work. So yes.
Yeah, and you're not supposed to do that. Like, so thank God they had seen the Shake and Bake stuff because that bailed me out because I was if he's like, no, like what, like I would have been like, I don't know if I would even posted it. Like I would just maybe took like the screenshot of me with them or something.
Yeah.
But thank God they knew that shirt because I was so freaking nervous.
So we didn't get the. I honestly thought. Now this is big ego talking. I honestly thought Joe Judge was going to see you and was going to be like, "Hey, I know you." He definitely wouldn't know your name, but it's like, "Hey, I know you."
Yeah, he doesn't know us.
No.
Found that like he may have heard of us before, like in passing, but he doesn't like our whole like he did the Little Caesars joke.
I'm
Like
still
after.
I'm still bought into it. Maybe he's just a really good actor.
Maybe, but I don't think he knew.
Oh,
Like, but I feel like he would have been more receptive, you know?
Yeah.
Like if it like I was hoping that's what I was hoping because I hoping we would at least like know us, at least maybe just from like Twitter or something. And doing that, but he didn't. And so everyone bullied me into this. I want to thank all our listeners for one, the fact that we're able to do it and get the reaction that we've gotten from it, because that was cool. And I want to thank you guys for bullying me because I was like, you're not supposed to do that, which I don't think I still think you're not supposed to do it. But like when I said I saw him and didn't approach him, everyone's like, you pansy. Like Art Stapleton called me a coward. And like
which PETA says is okay, by the way.
What is
PETA came out and said instead of calling someone chicken, calling them a coward is okay.
Coward is such a strong word.
I know. I thought of you when I saw that.
Like when I got mad at you for using the word coward. We won't bring up why right now just because of the vibe of this episode. But which means if Joe Judge and Patrick Graham loves those shirts, you guys have to buy the shirts. Justin, put the link in the bio.
We'll put up a picture right now.
Yeah, put the link in the description for the podcast and everything. Buy the shirts. Oh, and I was so like in my mind, like I have like a bag that I was holding like my notes and stuff in, like it's a laptop notebook, but I didn't have my laptop in it. So I just walked off like, hey, keep up the good work, and totally forgot all that. They had my phone charger, everything in it, and I left, and I went to go plug my phone into the car, and 20 minutes later, and realized that I had left it at the stadium. But so I turned around and I got it.
You know what's awesome about this whole thing? Obviously, you seeing Joe Judge, knowing them seeing the shirts somehow, that's awesome. But just we talk about, we joke about, but we don't know just how close some of the guys on the coaching staff are. But seeing how close like Patrick Graham and Joe Judge are with each other, that they are, they're talking about each other, license plates, they know each other's families, Patrick Graham, they have these, jokes with each other. I think that's honestly the coolest thing, because I think that's something that we crave for as fans of the team, really any sports fan. I know there's other sports that are more unique, like basketball and baseball that are, and even hockey, that are longer. So you get to see the personalities of some people shine a little bit more. And football is such, it's a kind of a short season. If you think about it, maybe it spans through a season and a half. Right. So this is the type of thing that I feel like people crave for. It's like, how well does Joe Judge actually get along with his coaching staff? And it's certainly comparing it to past coaching staffs. It's nothing like we've seen it. It's just so awesome. You're muted, Bobby. There you go. Way to capitalize on the moment.
They love each other. The shit, like I went back and listened to us talking about, the interview when they brought back this, they extended Patrick Graham and re-upped his contract. They are like brothers. Like those two, they are brothers, they are family, and I love it. The shake and bake is awesome. I should have asked him like, oh, you guys are big Step Brothers fans, and just really dug in on the inside joke.
What's your favorite line of Step Brothers?
So shake and bake, baby. I mean, that's great, dude. It's cool. Like, I know we thought that maybe Joe Judge listened here and there, but at least they have seen us. So like because when I was like, that's our, I was like, I'll give you a free shirt. He's like, you guys put those shirts out? I'm like, yeah, that was us, man.
Yeah.
And I think it might've been a little confusing. I was like talking Giants, and he's like, what is it? What? And he's like, oh, like when people say talking Giants, they probably think you're just talking about the Giants, not that it's actually the name of his show.
Right. Well, we're a brand. We're a brand. We're not just, we're talking.
Hey, we wondered if Joe Judge knew us before. He knows us now.
Yeah.
He knows us now.
Well, the good thing is, and I've been
my
telling
size
you
is a good thing to remember
that's
me
what
by
I was
too.
gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. There's downsides of being so tall. Like, for example, your plane ride home is probably also going to be uncomfortable. The benefits is if Joe Judge can pick you out of a crowd, and that is a positive thing.
Yeah.
When you're a media scum and you're going to be interviewing him after the games in a couple years. So.
No, I will never do that. Although we have to get it sucks that they don't talk to Judge for a while, because we can try and get them to be like, hey, how was your interaction with Bobby of Talking Giants down at the Senior Bowl?
We would probably get one of the people that we're close to on the beat.
The issue is the next time they talk, it'll be the first time they talked with them in a couple months, so they're going to be asking all their other stuff. So, but I feel like you guys need to write about the fact that they're close and that, Patrick Graham changes vanity play. Like, if you're not writing a story about that, writers, you're missing out. Like, that's a great story. And just cite us and we're good.
Yeah.
It's kind of on the show, Joe Judge.
I didn't think about it like that. Ooh.
It's a good story. So come on the show. Speaking of which, I keep on forgetting to publish Danny's blog on Noah Gray. I've been so busy down here.
Random thought.
So, where do you think this ranks as far as moments for us?
Well, what do we consider, like, us? Even though I wasn't with you guys, like me meeting Daniel Jones and connecting with the Golden family, is that a part of the moments for us?
Yeah, but I think this would top that.
This is better. I mean, obviously Marcus Golden's not on the team anymore.
I think this is big for our listeners. Yes.
Like, this is
the
biggest moment. Yes.
I'll gain a couple hundred followers here, but like the biggest moments for us are like the draft, because like people see our work and our work pays off, and that's when we gain thousands of followers and new subscribers and stuff. I think this is a bigger moment for our listeners, which is cool. They are one with us. They are Talking Giants is not me and Justin and Danny. It's me, Justin, Danny, and the listeners. It's
people were making Talking Giants versus the world memes today, which I thought was awesome. Like, they were making their own memes.
Do you think now the Dunkin' Donuts that I go to is right next to the stadium? Some guy keeps on putting Talking Giants stickers on the drive-thru window.
Some guy.
So I would assume they go to that Dunkin' Donuts.
Is his name Tim from Florida?
Yes, exactly. It is Tim from Florida. I've heard.
People are saying.
I should have brought. Now that I think of it, I should have brought one of the big greasy 3 stickers, like because.
Oh yeah, that you're never going to use.
Because I did it 2 days in a row, and then just third day, just put that giant sticker on. I wonder what the people think behind me. Just see me like just reaching out my window, just like put a nice sticker on there.
Would you have to throw it a little bit so there's a little skill to have the
magnet
No, because
stick? it's on the backside of a building. Like, it's on the backside of the building, so I get like right up next to it. Like, I don't even have to reach far.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy. So big buy moment. The shirts.
Big moment, big day.
Yeah, cool. Like, I can't stand when people try and play too cool for school. But I thought that was cool.
Yeah. I mean, especially considering like what else is going on right now. Bobby and I, we talk like, at least, I'll tell you where my headspace is at. I'm having like this little, like, not crisis, but I'm having this moment of like, oh, I feel like, we're not doing enough because we do so much during the regular season. And now it's kind of just like, well, what do you do? What do people want? What, rather than just tweeting about the draft every day, what do people want? And this is cool. Like, this is a cool thing that happened. And I'm happy for you. I'm happy for us, but I'm also happy that everybody else gets to kind of experience it with us. That's like, yeah, when we talk about Joe Judge, Patrick Graham being buddy and being awesome together, they are like, that's a real life thing. And we got to see it. So cool.
Yeah. Talking Giants versus the world. And that doesn't mean me, Justin, and Danny versus the world. It means all of our listeners. All right, Justin, but there was some Giants news and some good news.
Yeah.
The Giants hired Jeremy Pruitt, who was the head coach for Tennessee the last 3 seasons. His role is unknown. We're kind of assuming he's going to be the outside linebacker coach, but he may not. He may be like the assistant defensive coordinator. Justin, his resume, obviously the head coach at Tennessee the last 3 years. In 2016 and 17, he was the Alabama defensive coordinator and inside linebacker coach, won a national championship in 17. Then in 2014 and 15, he was the Georgia defensive coordinator and defensive backs coach. The year before that, in 2013, he was the head coach for Florida State, the national championship Florida State defense, 12.1 points per game, was the head coach for that, and then was with Alabama the 3 previous years as the DB coaches, where him and Joe Judge crossed over. So he was obviously fired by Tennessee. Justin, I think this is, whatever his role is a good hire. Like, this guy, unless he was the defensive coordinator, he's overqualified. He's overqualified for every job on this staff than besides defensive coordinator. Like, this is an awesome hire. Like, we thought you couldn't do better than Brett Bielema as an outside linebacker coach, and Bielema was a little more established or accomplished as a coach. But this is like the next best thing, or possibly better, Justin.
Yeah, I think the fact that, Bobby, he's been at least a defensive coordinator since 2013. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean,
so
and that was for the national championship defense.
Yeah. And he's been the defensive coordinator / head coach of top flight college football programs since 2013. And, we don't care, at least, we care about this, but we don't care about this for the sake of the Giants, that, he was putting money in McDonald's bags, and that has nothing to do with the Giants. But yes, he is 100% overqualified. I'm not a positions coach expert, but you just look at the resume and it's like, well, this is kind of cool that the Giants and Joe Judge were able to get this guy to come on. I did have a Tennessee, somebody who was more special with their profile picture, somebody who maybe knows a little bit more about Pruitt and where he comes from more than we would. He said that I would think that he would coach the DBs, since that's what he has done in the past. But obviously Henderson is still here, the DB coach we have right now.
He's coached linebackers too.
And he has linebackers on his resume too for like a year, right?
Alabama, he was the inside linebacker coach for 2 years.
Yeah. So all these, you always feel like these positional coaches, they always change year in, year out, and they can be versatile in that regard. So I don't care about that. This guy is very qualified, and happy he's a part of the staff in some way. It's not confirmed yet, but we would think it's the outside linebackers coach, like you said.
Yeah. And whatever it is, I mean, this is a great hire to me. Suppose he's a great recruiter too, which I don't know if that has any role in the NFL, if that translates at all. But like Jalen Ramsey, who noted difficult, probably person to coach, said like he is the perfect mix of like when to work and when to play. So he's really gonna capture like whatever position group he is. And it's crazy what a guy who's the head coach of an SEC school, and just to be able to focus on one position or whatever it is, and maybe they do just make him the assistant defensive coordinator, which that would be cool too. But how much less of a role and how much more you can focus, where you're not controlling, every little detail of a program. So I think this is a great hire for Jeremy Pruitt. Obviously has the Joe Judge connection. And, the more you hire new guys like this, it also gains more connections going forward, where it's like, hey, this guy was my running backs coach, here. And that's where, connections, like, and Joe Judge has talked, like, it's important to have connections with the guys you bring in instead of just bringing in random people. But you also don't want to only bring in somebody for a connection. So this strengthens that mindset that Joe Judge has. And he has connections on the team already. I mean, Kevin Sherrer was his defensive coordinator at Tennessee, who's now the inside linebackers coach. And he was with, Sherrer was with him at Georgia for a little while too, I think.
You would think being a positions coach in the NFL, correct me if I'm wrong, being a positional coach in the NFL is less lucrative than being a defensive coordinator for a Division I college team, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And you would think that, even though, I don't know the whole ramifications and exactly how taboo this whole scandal was with Tennessee, right? This is not the first time that something illegal has been done in terms of trying to bribe students to come to your school. I'm not, I don't think
that doesn't bother me at all.
No, but I'm saying, would that be a reason to be blackballed from the NCAA and getting a job where you would be taking less of a role, even as a defensive coordinator for a school? No,
because they all know, they all do it. So it's not like It's not like, Nick Saban, who I saw yesterday, be like, you were paying players?
What? I'm just
Almost
kind of
as bad as when
surprised.
I do it.
I'm just kind of surprised that I'm happy he's here, but I'm kind of surprised that he made his way to the NFL and he made his way to East Rutherford.
Well, here's a thought on it. Justin, here's something we've talked about because of we're talking about shake and bake Patrick Graham. He did re-up this year, but maybe Patrick Graham does want to go and be a head coach next season. Maybe he does. And we talked about guys who could be like replacements on the staff. And, it's like Sean Spencer, maybe Kevin Sherrier. I feel like Jeremy Pruitt jumps to the top of that list now. Like, you don't know if he's going to get a head coaching role in college. So, like you said, what's more important, defense coordinator in college? Well, how about defensive coordinator in the NFL? How about defensive coordinator in the NFL? So, obviously, you want Patrick Graham to stay forever, and maybe Patrick Graham truly does want to stay forever. But he could be that guy if Patrick Graham were to bail for a head coaching gig, which I would be happy for him. Would suck to lose him, but I would be happy for him. Jeremy Pruitt probably could be the next guy in line for that.
Don't put that energy in the air. I don't need that.
Well, here's the thing. If Patrick Graham is being considered for head coaching gigs next year, that means we had a really good season for the New York Giants.
Yes. You're right. It's good hire. We're happy. It's exciting. Yes.
Ooh, I was going to do, we obviously did the shake and bake intro today, but I was going to do Rocky Top as the intro for this episode, where it was like Jeremy Pruitt, like this is a big deal. And so now let's just say he takes the outside linebackers coach, even though that may not be his role. That would just leave the O-line coach as the only thing left.
It's a big one.
Maybe Joe Judge was expecting me to be like, who's going to be the O-line coach? You can't.
It's a big
he
one.
Must have thought the worst when I came up to him because I ambushed him, which I hate. Like that's why people were like, that's why I didn't want to do it.
Did you have your Talking Giants sweatshirt on?
No, I had just a black I had my Talking Giants beanie.
Your beanie, yes.
But, yeah. So good hire in Jeremy Pruitt. I really like that. So and I think one of our strength and conditioning guys is a Tennessee coach as well.
Yeah.
So Rocky Top. Now all we need now is Coach Doug's.
True.
Do you remember Coach Doug's?
Yeah, I never watched the streams because I'm a bad guy and I'm about 5 years behind on, really 20 years behind on everything pop culture wise. But yes, I am familiar. The mustache, chubby dude.
Yeah, it was the height of the pandemic, the beginning, and we had no sports. And Big
True.
Cat,
NCAA 14.
Yeah, NCAA 14, and then this guy, Coach Doug's. So, and then he won a national. I think he won it at Tennessee. Yeah, he won it at Tennessee. He won the national championship at Tennessee.
A couple years where I think he lost, and he kind of bounced between a couple schools, a couple different programs weren't necessarily seeing his vision. Finally won it with Tennessee, so I think he's the perfect O-line coach.
Do it. Bring him. Come on, Coach Doug's. Do it. So yeah, good hire. Yeah, I mean he's overqualified, so that's good stuff. Do you want to take a break before we do Giant stories, or you want to just go right into Giant stories?
We can take a break. We'll debrief with the Patreon chat a little bit.
All right, cool. All right, let's do Giant stories, where we basically just write down what the Giants players are doing on their Instagram stories, and we talk about it. Justin, play the music. George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk, and all of their wives, they were singing Mr. Brightside, I Want to Be a Rock Star. I mean, it looked like a freaking time. I mean, they were listening to Taylor Swift on the boat. Cam Brown was riding horses in the ocean. I'm not sure what island that was on. Carter Coughlin was at the NFC Championship. How about that in Green Bay? Austin Mack was bowling. Nate Ebner wrote a book. Austin Johnson was on a duck boat. And Leonard Williams bought a skateboard while David Sills was snowboarding. And John Boy's texting me. Justin, how are you doing?
What does the text say? Let's read the John Boy text.
It's about, he said, because I said I felt scummy. He said, I always pussy out with that stuff. It's hard because it feels like you're bothering. Me and John Boy are the same when it comes to that type of stuff. So it's that. Justin, what piques your interest out of these Giants stories?
Um, First thing that comes to mind, I am a state champion in bowling when I was in high school. Austin Mack, can you tell me a little bit about his form? Did he have his
It was
own
just a picture at
ball?
the bowling alley.
It was just a picture. Damn. All right. So we need to find out some more details if he's a frequent bowler or if this was just like, hey, I'm going to go bowling.
We could probably get. Actually, Mac wouldn't be a great one to get on the show because we'd be like, all you're good at is running slants. And you're
No,
not even great at
actually,
that.
we would say all you're really, I don't, and I feel bad at saying, I believe in Austin Mack. You know, he's a little slow,
I like
but
Mac.
I like
I
him.
know he's not going to be a top guy.
And maybe there's good slight chance he doesn't make the team next year. But all that he was really used this year to do was they motioned him into the box so he can block. Tough, tough. So we'll find out about Austin Mack. Hopefully he posts more bowling pics, videos on his Instagram stories. Cam Brown riding the horses in the ocean reminds me of the Shania Twain Lionel Richie music video of Endless Love, where Shania Twain is riding a horse in the ocean in the Bahamas.
That's where it is. It's in the Bahamas because he was
Sure.
posting other vacation stuff. I didn't know which island it was, so it's probably in the exact same spot. Maybe he even rode the same horse as Shania Twain.
I don't know about that. Shania Twain.
That's true. Shania Twain is old as dirt. So
wow.
Yeah,
Man, that music video I think it's around like almost 10 years ago.
10 years ago. I thought it was maybe 20 years ago. At this
Stop. Let's not make me mad. Let's not do this. Dance party. This dance party seems very fun.
It did look fun. Like it was definitely like some like something like people would be like, oh, these white people are crazy.
How do we draw the connections? Is it Toy Lolo knows Juszczyk?
They all played for the 49ers.
Oh, they all played for the 49ers.
Toy Lolo and Caden Smith were both. It probably was George Kittle who set it up. So George Kittle was there. I'm sure there were some other 49ers players, but it was Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback, and then Toy Lolo probably was good friends. And then they brought Caden Smith. And they all live in Cali too. So, man, I mean, they were like standing on the table like, hey, I want to be a rock star. And then I don't know how the Taylor Swift song, but it goes, dun, dun, dun. I can't do it. I just can't even do it.
It's all right. No, but here's my burning question.
Baby, just say yes. Is that how it goes?
It's a love story, baby. Just say yes.
Okay. See, I did know it. How about that?
It's a Romeo Juliet type of machine. I have a burning question. So Dante Pettis must be scrolling through those Instagram stories, getting a lot of FOMO. So maybe our whole theories of him being weird are true because
Pettis isn't part of the tight end group.
But fullback. Not really part of the tight end group.
Yeah, no, if there was any position group that the fullback went with, it would be the tight ends. For example, Ben Mason, the fullback out of Michigan, he's practicing with the tight ends this week.
Elijah Penny lines up with those running backs, though.
Yeah, but he's a converted running back.
I don't know. I think if I'm Dante Pettis, I'm getting
Smith, fullback.
I'm getting a little FOMO, and I think it confirms that Dante Pettis is kind of a weirdo, and he was left out of the former 49er party.
People didn't like us calling Blake Martinez a weirdo because they thought that they took us saying weirdo as like a huge insult, and we were just being like, no, like weirdo, like in a sense, we're all weirdos, you know. Like my a phrase that I actually made this up, and it's one of my favorite ones, is if you're not weird, you're weird.
I also said that I'm a bad guy after it. So it's okay for me to literally say anything as long as I follow it up with, I know I'm a bad guy. That's the rule. You should know this.
Hey, just like Shake and Bake Ricky Bobby. With all due respect, I didn't know you had your balls surgically removed. So it's just with all due respect. Back to bowling. Since you're like a good bowler, would you be mad if we went bowling and I was screwing around the whole time and like making a mockery of bowling? Because I've been with people, like there was one time my uncle and my cousin were trying their best to bowl. My dad showed up and started getting a little rowdy, and it turned into us like screaming their names in their backswing and like basically like them not wanting to talk to us.
You got to get locked in. And, if you're not like a professional bowler where you're waking up at, the crack of dawn to get the fresh lanes and, or, people, it's like, yeah, can you let me in to the alley early where nobody's there? No, you got to lock in. And even in high school, in high school bowling too, if you're a younger bowler, you need, it's so much commotion. It's so crowded. There's people going all around you, running around you. So you got to get locked in. So I learned kind of not to get bothered by that. So I may get distracted a few times, but I won't throw like a hissy fit, which is a good question. Cause a lot of people, I don't like bowlers. I kind of feel about bowlers like we also feel about golfers. Yes. I was about to say that.
We're gonna offend every hobbies at some point in this off season.
Little pretentious.
We made fun of golfers, bowlers, people that like play Pokemon. What are we gonna do next? Like people that watch birds or hike, kill them. So
people that go up to dangerous territories and then get lost or get attacked by.
Cool. I like hiking.
Yeah. Like we're fishing right now. We're fishing to piss people off. Let's not do that.
Tweet at us which hobbies you think are weird. How about that?
Yeah. That should be a Simple Man Radio segment.
Which hobbies make you a bad person?
Yes. Yes.
That is a surefire way to piss people off. Stupid. All right. So that's John's stories. Other news before we'll do a little Senior Bowl talk at the end, which we're basically at the end. Eli's going to work for the team. He met with Marin, was in the Giants building, talking to people, visiting. He's going to work for the team in some capacity. He's not going to be a coach, and he shouldn't be a coach. Like Eli, whatever he's going to be doing, it's not going to be the full focus of his life. Like bring him in to do something. But don't give Eli any position where it needs to be the full focus of his life. Make it cool and nonchalant.
Yeah, I can imagine they're going to do something similar to what they did with Tyree. Tyree was just maybe on the sidelines during training camp for years, by the way. I don't know if Eli would be doing that. I would be very down, just comparing this to the Yankee organization too. Nick Swisher was somebody where his role and his job when he was like with the Yankees after he retired as a player, it was just like teaching you how to be a Yankee. Like, I'm going to teach you like how to like talk in front of the media, how to present yourself, how to be a Yankee. So if Eli is working with the players, and odds are, like you said, he's not going to be doing something that's coaching. I would love for him to, almost be like a liaison between, how to be a Giant and, the players as well. Since Eli is definitely more. I know this is why I would love to know. And this is why I value like behind the scenes things like I talked about earlier in the show. Eli seems like a really, really personable dude, as somebody who can get along with anybody, even though it clearly seems like he is everybody's dad and he did not definitely talk to maybe half the locker room.
Yeah. I don't know. Here's the thing. I just don't want him to become John Elway, like what John Elway is to the Broncos now. Where it's like he's the franchise's hero, and then it's like he's not a good GM though. Just so put it something where it's stress-free and it can't be criticized. Like we can't criticize Eli. Like there can't be like, oh, Eli did this wrong. Just make it something nonchalant and cool. Nothing serious.
I don't know if he wants that.
He shouldn't. And he's not going to put all of his effort into it either. And he shouldn't. Like he shouldn't. Guys like Eli Manning shouldn't have to, work jobs like that at the end. And he doesn't want to. I mean, I think he said he wanted to do some more stuff with Peyton's Place and stuff. He did a detail episode for ESPN. Like, so I think he's going to do stuff here and there, but I don't think he wants to go into something full-time, like an announcer or anything like that.
I will say though, and this is something that I've always said about Eli. Just hearing some of the things that he said towards the latter end of his career, he definitely was not like Brett Favre handling the benching and, moving on to a different quarterback. He was very professional about it, but there will always be a part of Eli Manning that wants to win in everything that he does, but specifically for football. I think he retired, and I think everybody does this too, in a way, but especially Eli. I have a feeling Eli did not want to retire in a way. even though I think it was time. And I still think like that competitive fire is very much still burning in him. And he may be looking for some other outlet to replace that in. I don't know. I don't know. Just thinking of how Eli retired and how everything went, you know, he didn't have the best of swan songs. Not that everybody does have a Michael Strahan send off, but I know
I
him.
think he had the
We know
best of for a guy that didn't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like that Miami moment was a special moment. And that's why like people look back like, oh, we lost, you know, we won meaningless games. Like that Miami moment was special. Like that's a special moment. And that's what sports are about. So that was glad Eli's staying around, you know. We obviously love Eli. And it's you know, a little over a year since his retirement, so that's cool. Want to finish up with some Senior Bowl stuff? I mean, basically, you could just ask me questions and I'll answer. Because I'm not going to go through I'm not going to be like, you know, this player did this. Before that, I forgot to mention this. Now, I said that when I made my pin tweet, which was the day after the 2019 draft, you know, the Daniel Jones, Mr. Jones and me, I said, I'm not going to change that until Daniel Jones either wins a Super Bowl or isn't the starting quarterback for the New York Giants. I feel like I kind of got to change it to this Joe Judge video. Like that's better for business, you know?
Doesn't mean you can't change it back to Daniel Jones maybe once the season starts, once the summer comes. Whenever there's anti-Daniel Jones slander happening, doesn't mean you can't change it back.
Yeah. But I like having it being that, but I don't know.
Change it up.
Like, maybe I'll change it in like a week, you know, once this all dies down and people get mad at me for like being like, you are wrong about Alfred Morris. So yeah. All right, Senior Bowl. Hit me with questions.
All right, so we'll maybe
start. Chat can hit me with some questions too.
Yeah, please, Patreon chat. This is the benefits Patreon chat. Sometimes you get to be a part of the show. Kind of start macro. Here we go. My macro, micro. Start macro, then we'll go micro. Talk about the Senior Bowl experience as a whole. Is this something that I know you kind of mentioned that you did enjoy, but even just think about it as somebody who likes football, who was watching football for a week. Was this something that you enjoyed? Did you enjoy seeing players? Did you enjoy seeing the Senior Bowl process, whatever that process is, happen?
Yes, it was a ton of fun. You know, I'm trying to grab good videos and also like take notes and focus on certain players, which it's hard to do that and full time. It's like, or you're taking a video or you're just focusing on a player and you can't like one-on-ones is like where you can really focus on a player. But then also it's like one-on-ones aren't always indicative of the game. You know, I think one-on-ones are like the worst way to judge an offensive lineman. So like especially tackle guard where it's like guard center. It's like a defensive lineman is never going to be able to do that type of move on a guard center where it's just one-on-one and you're like not even thinking about stopping their run or anything. So it was fun. My big thing is just I feel like I didn't get enough content out of it. And that's big part of that is because the Senior Bowls, they're like kind of sloppy with some stuff. Like I love what they do, but like the film thing, you have to download this app, and it's like you can't even download it on a MacBook computer. And like so, then I had Danny download it on his iPad, and you couldn't download the video. So Danny like literally tried to screen record individual clips for me. So I'm gonna figure out a way to get it, and then I'll do breakdowns. Which something I want to do is for like O-line, D-line. I just want to break down like, hey, here's all this guy's one-on-one clips. Let's just go through them all, which, you know, for each player will be like less than a 10-minute video. So, but I just feel like I didn't get enough done. Part of that was with coronavirus and social distancing, and I just don't have a lot of media friends that were there. And I wasn't going to be the guy like, you know, I don't want to be the guy that's going hounding somebody like, hey, what's going on? Can you come on my podcast type of thing? You know, I like to build a relationship organically and then go from there. So if Dan Duggan and Nick Filata were there like years past, it probably would have been a more fun experience. But me being on my own, I just feel like I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. And you know me, Justin, like I feel like if I'm not doing too much, I feel like I'm not doing enough.
Yeah. I mean, I expressed the same thing in the beginning of the show. I can imagine I can imagine, once we're post Corolla, there's more people there. It's more of a lively environment, and then it's handshake. It's a handshaking thing. Hey, Dan Duggan. Hey, I know this guy. Meet Bobby Skinner. Hey, especially Nick Filato. Friend of they're both friends of the program, but Nick Filato is a fellow podcaster. Hey, Nick Filato. Meet this Nick Filato's friend. Meet Bobby Skinner. I can imagine more of that is happening. When we're actually allowed to shake people's hands again. So that's, I think, for what the circumstances were, and how you were by yourself and how everything was so limited and nobody was really there. Like, how many people were there that
For
weren't
media?
coaches?
There's a good chunk of people there.
Yeah.
Like, the stands weren't like packed full, but like there was people everywhere. Like everyone was able to social distance, but also like it was packed. The stadiums were packed with social distancing, You know what I mean?
Yeah. I also heard the town, and I think this is something we need to talk to Nick about. I think the town, is there some sort of town that's nearby? Mobile, right?
Well, it's in Mobile.
Yeah. So isn't the town like a spot to go, or maybe there's some good food spots?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna go like sit at one. Like I actually, me, I'm not like deathly afraid of COVID or anything, but I am traveling on planes and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to get it,
No.
So
Well, no,
like
I'm
getting
thinking
COVID
of
would suck. So
I'm thinking
I
of next year. Next year of, maybe I'll join, and
yeah, if
we
you can
gotta
go next year, we'll have more fun doing it.
yeah, we're gonna be eating places. I want to be a slob. I want to embarrass myself in front of a camera for content. I sign up for that. This is what I do. So yeah, we're I'm the trip was good. I feel like you learned a lot. So here now, maybe we'll get to some players, and check the Patreon chat if anybody has really good questions. But out of the players that you've already kind of looked at, you've been sending me some clips of players that you've been looking at for the last couple weeks. Was there anybody that you drastically changed your mind on? Like, yes, I love this player. Maybe after looking at him a little bit, and I didn't really like him, or I didn't, or I was neutral. Or is there a player that you really loved, and now you're like, ooh, I'm not really sure about this guy?
No, I think it's more of guys I didn't know who are just like, oh my gosh, I gotta go check these guys out. Like there's some wide like Amari Rogers from Clemson. He dominated like today's practice. I mean, was like running good routes. He was catching some tight passes. Then he had some struggles at the end. But like a UCF DB, Richie Grant, he was balling. So there's guys where it's like, okay, I need to go see what I saw with my eyes and then match it up to the game film. Kadarius Toney, like he was a hot name in the streets. I feel like you got to feel good about him. What did make it a little harder is besides Mac Jones, all the QBs sucked. Like Jamie Newman he's god awful. Like they just couldn't hit guys. They would run like in a practice with a red jersey. I get you're trying to like show off stuff, but it's like they would just take off and run. It's like, can you throw the ball? And like we should get some contested throws down the field, some 1-on-1s and stuff. So there's some guys. Trey McKitty from Georgia could be a late round tight end. Dwayne Eskridge out of Western Michigan. I mean, he was super impressive. Like everyone fell in love with him. He didn't practice the last day. And then another guy from Western Michigan, this offensive lineman, Jalen Moore. He'll probably be the first tape I watch on Monday when I'm back in Florida, or probably Sunday since there's no football games this week. Like I can't wait to watch his and see if it matches up because he was the best offensive lineman on the national team to me, and he plays tackle, guard. He's probably more guard size in the NFL, but he was a beast in people. Here's someone two people who I liked a lot but didn't play as well as I thought. Patrick Jones for Pitt. He needs a counter move. Like I was I had Rashad Weaver, the other defensive end for Pitt, a little above him. Now it's like Rashad Weaver's better, and Rashad Weaver's not perfect either. But Patrick Jones, I thought he had a really bad week. And then Chaz Surratt. Now it's hard to focus on linebackers, but he just didn't look special to me. Like, and you guys know I love Chaz Surratt. But it's hard to watch linebackers in team drill. But it was like on one-on-one running back versus linebacker drills, which are slanted for the running back anyways. But he just didn't look great. And then he didn't practice the last day. So
How
those
big
are
is
two
he,
guys.
Surratt? What's his size?
I think he's like 6'2", 220, 6'1", 220. I mean, he's not big, he's not huge, but he is fast and aggressive. But so I didn't yeah. So he didn't have the greatest of days. But Kadarius Toney, Amari Rogers, Dwayne Eskridge.
So here's another like big picture question that I have, and we're not scouts. Bobby's not a scout. I'm not a scout. But the whole stereotype of the Giants is, Dave Gettleman watches these guys in the Senior Bowl and then makes his decision. I've joked about it. How much do you feel like you were actually able to learn about some of these guys between watching them for a few days? And this, like I said, you're not a scout, but how much were you able to feel like learn about these guys?
When you're watching the film, which I haven't been able to really do, you probably could learn a ton. But for me, it was more learning about guys, like just in general. But like a guy like Dwayne Eskridge, like he could totally raise his, like he could like be a later end first rounder with the way he looked out there. Guys like Amari Rogers, who was like, was he a product of the Clemson system? It's like, no, he gets open. And he catches contested balls for not the biggest guy in the world. But no, and the thing is, it was probably a bad QB crop. I mean, Felipe Franks, Gators fans know him. He sucks. Jamie Newman was horrible. Kellen Mond sucked. I mean, Mac Jones struggled the first day, but the last 2 days, Mac Jones looked pretty good. Like I could see somebody like end of the first round, early second round, like falling for Mac Jones. But it was just the QBs kind of make it tough, and it's also you have, like in the QB's mind, it's like I got to be perfect. I can't make any mistakes. I got to impress these people. In my mind, watching, it's like, dude, I want to see what Trevon Grimes could do with a jump ball, And that it's just like you don't get that. So one-on-ones is where you really get to like focus in on some guys.
Yeah. And it's a shame you don't have the combine because, you can see how guys locate some balls in the air, more consistency with, deep ball catching, even though they're not, you don't have a cornerback trailing anybody, but, that's on the national stage. And how can a guy catch the ball on a national stage? How about that guy from Florida, that wide receiver from Florida that juked that guy out and he dropped the ball on the
Kadarius Toney,
sideline? Yeah.
He's a star. Everybody loves him. My worry is that he's like the next like Dexter McCluster type, where it's like everybody falls in love with him, myself included, and then it's like the NFL he just doesn't like have a role to fit into.
Yeah.
Demetric Felton could be that. Like he was a running back. He was practicing at wide receiver. He's so fast, but he doesn't play wide receiver. So you would see him at the line. He's just like juking. He's like juking. It's like, dude, get into your break and go. But he would sit there and juke like crazy, and so he needs work. But the winner is Western Michigan. Because, like, you can argue for the national team, the best skill position was Dwayne Eskridge, and the best offensive lineman was Jalen Moore. Everyone fell in love with the Wisconsin Whitewater center. His name was Quinn Miners, but it's hard to see the center. So I may go watch them and fall in love with him, but I didn't see anything. Creed Humphreys, I thought he had a really bad day one. Day two, he was all right. Day three, I didn't watch the O-line, D-line a ton for that team.
Any Devonta Smith updates?
No, he just showed up. He didn't even weigh in.
Hey, he's got to drink. Maybe he didn't drink enough water the night before.
Yeah, or like Kyler Murray, where it's like he magically stretched himself out for the combine.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, saw Nick Saban. He was out there. Drew Rosenhaus was right behind me. On Wednesday, and I almost did it. I was gonna do a tweet, being like, "Hey, I met this guy named Drew Rosenhaus, and he says I should be making more money, John Boy."
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't see Ben Albright. Ben Albright is tough to miss. He's tough to miss.
Everyone was wearing masks.
Just look at his clothes that he's wearing. When I say flamboyant, it's not in like an offensive way. He dresses a little flamboyant.
Oh, I saw Matt Miller. Like I was right next to him, but it's like I don't like him at all. And I'll I've made fun of Matt Miller, where it's like he just makes stuff up. Like every year, whoever Matt Miller says he heard the Giants are drafting, they don't draft Dwayne Haskins. Like They are falling in love with Dwayne Haskins. Isaiah Simmons, they are going to draft Isaiah Simmons. So whoever Matt Miller says, a lot of people don't like. I've noticed film people don't like Matt Miller.
And it's tough for film
But also,
people.
I don't like those people because they're like pretentious,
Yeah. Draft people are tough sometimes.
I never want to be a draft guy. Like I want to do draft stuff, but I never want to be I never want to be a draft guy. I think draft people can be. Here we go with hobbies again because they kind of suck.
But to do that all year round, like it has to be like such a power to you. And even the Draft Network, they're not doing draft stuff all year round. They, I know what's his face, not Ben Albright,
Solak.
Ben Solak. First of all, it's a mystery how old he is because I think he's married, but he looks younger than I do. But he does a good job breaking down some Eagles stuff. Well, he also has like an Eagles podcast, but they do other stuff other than the draft stuff all year round. But just solely doing that, like if that's your job to do draft stuff all year round, it's like how do you not want to pull your hair out? I guess that's why they call it work.
Yeah, I feel like there's like not like you're known as the draft. I don't know. I wouldn't enjoy it because then I like doing what we do. That's basically what I'm saying.
I would agree.
Yeah. So
what do we got? We got anything else?
No, I think we're good, man.
Anybody in the Patreon chat have anything to say?
Brian Perez, Duke Gang said I should have punched Todd McShay.
Oh, what about what about Daniel Jones's tight end that he threw to in college?
He looked pretty good. He had some nice catches. I had a couple touchdowns in red zone period. The Boise State tight end looked pretty good. His name is John Bates. He looked pretty good. No, Gray looked decent.
Odds are, we'll see what the Giants do in free agency, but odds are maybe Toilolo's gone. If Pitts doesn't happen at 11, you would think that they do maybe draft another tight end. Maybe kind of need.
I think there's a good chance they roll with Evan Ingram and Caden Smith.
Shit, what a world! What a world
I don't
that will
like
be.
Evan Ingram can't have a year as bad as this year. So,
I guess you're right about that.
I mean, it's true. Like you can't have that type of year where he has all those drops and those drops turn into interceptions the way that they did.
Yeah, that is kind of
a year like that. I mean, it was brutal.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's random because dropping balls is not random. If you have a drop ball problem, you have a drop ball problem. But tipping them up and all of those resulting in interceptions, that was freak.
It became comical. Like at the end, it's like this keeps happening. Like the Dallas one was like, I'm not mad at this anymore. I'm just not. I'm not mad at this anymore. It's just funny to me. Like I became became like the clearly mad Twitter like girl on Twitter being like, I'm not mad. I just think it's funny. Like that's what I was towards the end. So, all right. So we got 3 months to talk about the drafts, and this was just the beginning of it. I will have next week. I will have a good amount of. I probably have a draft video out every day, maybe even more than one a day. I will figure out a way to get.
Oh, when next week or next month?
Next week.
Oh, whoa! Exciting stuff.
My first mock draft that's coming out Monday. Actually, Chris Entertainer said he might be putting out one Monday. I want to put out the same day as him, so maybe sometime next week you'll get my first mock draft video.
Screw it
about that.
Post it before him.
No, I will talk with Chris because he's our friend, and we want to we both want to shine bright like a diamond. All right, that's a show. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for making this week possible. Like John Wood Media doesn't send us here because I asked. He sends us here because he sees you guys interacting with us and being a part of what we do. So thank you guys. We appreciate you. We'll be back for an episode on Tuesday. Until then, let's go Big Blue.